We are live.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. So welcome to our live show for The Invisible Life of Addie Larue by Schwab. So excited. We buddy read this a couple of weeks ago and just wanted to chat, see what everyone thought about it. So before we get started, why don't we go around and introduce ourselves? Why don't we do something like our channel name, maybe where we're from, and how about a non-bookish fact? Because I feel like everybody does like bookish facts, so maybe a non-bookish fact about you. So does anyone want to start, or you want me to start?
You can start at your channel.
So this is my channel, Megan's Reading Revelations. A fun non-bookish fact about me. This is kind of bookish related, but not really. So 2 years ago, my husband and I traveled to New Zealand, and I got to visit the Hobbit set for
Amazing.
and it was
awesome.
so cool.
That is cool.
Okay. Addie, you want to go next?
I'm trying to think of a fact about myself. Well, hi, I'm Abby from the channel Abby Salter. I am British. I live in London. I read fantasy, sci-fi, all those lovely genres. And a fact about me, I speak French and Spanish.
Parle français?
I didn't know that.
Français de bon, là. Oh, sorry, I'm kidding.
I have lived in France and Spain. I did 6 months in Spain, and I spent a year in France now.
That's
Very
awesome.
Very cool.
Okay. Andy.
Hi everyone, my name is Andy. My channel is read by Andy, actually. And I am from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Et je parle français. French is my first language, so I always love to know that other people speak French because I know it's a super hard and complicated language to learn. And a non-bookish fact about me, I'm a crazy cat lady and very shameless about it. But no, since 2020, I started working for a charity that helps kids and adults living with intellectual disabilities and autism spectrum disorder. So that's really like a cause that's really dear to my heart, and I just love talking about it, and I love, giving visibility to these amazing people. So yes, that's a non-bookish fact about me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. It's changed my life.
That's great. All right, I'm Jessie. My channel is The Bookish Mom. I am in Central Florida. A bookish fact, I have 2 kids, and I actually work in social media marketing, but I have a degree in legal studies.
Same. I don't work in my careers either. I feel like most
either.
so.
I'm like, I went to school for all these years and do not work in that field at all.
Okay, so thanks for joining us, everybody. So I figured we could just kind of break the book down into a couple different, not really sections, but like topics. So the way that I normally do my book reviews is I kind of discuss, the plot, the characters. Since it's a fantasy book, I like to talk about the world and then the things that I liked and didn't like. So I figured we'd kind of follow something similar to that. But first, what was your overall impression and what was your star rating of this book after you finished reading it? Abby, why don't you start?
I mean, I just loved the whole book, from start to finish. There wasn't really any other feeling. It was just love straight away. I gave it 5 stars. I cried a lot. Those last, I don't know, 50, 30 pages. It's a solid half an hour of just tears.
I was not expecting that when I first got this book to cause tears to come to my eyes. It did the same for me. I didn't cry, but I was Okay, Andy, what was your overall opinion?
Well, it's funny you say that. That's the opposite happened to me because I read so many people saying that they cried, and I hauled this book on my channel, and everybody would comment "Oh my God, Addie and Larue, I cried so much." And then I went into it thinking that it was going to be sad, that I was going to cry. So I tried to, not be biased. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I liked it, and I think we discussed that, Megan, already. But I really love how there were so many elements to the plot. There were so many like different things to kind of draw on. So I really liked that. It wasn't like it was really different from anything that I've read before. That's for sure, and I'm sure you guys agree with that. But yeah, I liked it. I just feel like I may have been biased a bit by everybody's opinions. And I keep talking about this, but I watched like Bookborn's unpopular opinion video. I feel like I'm like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Like, did I not see these things? Because I was just like trying to like the book like everybody else,
I loved her review.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
It's in my watch later. I'll get to it, I promise.
It was really good. But yeah, I like the book.
Definitely.
I gave it 5 stars. I kind of felt like Abby. I just went in and just fell in love hard. It is so different from what I normally read, though. I thought I was going to hate it, honestly, because it's slow paced. It's not like action packed and plot heavy and like all the things I normally love. It's the complete opposite, but I still just loved the slow boringness of it, I guess. Like the boring relationships and like the little like daily things that you don't really think of being important. I love how important those like small things are.
Yes.
And I also cried a lot, but I cry so easily. Like everything makes me cry. So we take that with a grain of salt.
I don't think I've ever cried in a book.
Oh my God.
I didn't cry in Addie, but that's because I was expecting it.
So I really like V.E. Schwab. I think this was the 7th book I've read of hers, but I feel like this is definitely different than anything else I've read from her, and I just wasn't expecting to feel what Addie was feeling so much, because every time she went through something, it was like I was going through it, and I became just emotionally attached to her, and I think that's kind of what made me rate it so high. Obviously, it's not perfect. I did have my issues with it, but they were more tailored to my individual taste than, criticizing the author. So I ended up giving it 5 stars too, just because for a book to make me tear up, they did something right, because that's only like the 3rd book that's ever made me even tear up. So that says something. So.
I feel like when you read a book and you're going to remember a book much more if you were really attached to the character and you like felt for the characters than for the plot, I feel like. So I feel like I'm going to remember this book for a while.
100%.
I'm a crier. Yeah. Everything makes me cry.
I don't know what's wrong with me. What does that say about me? Oh my God.
Movies, books, music, like it doesn't matter. I'm probably going to start crying.
But I'd say it's very different to V. Schwab's other books. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
In tone, in writing style, it's not like what the other books that I've read from her.
No, not at all. I spent all of October reading nothing but V. Schwab books.
Yeah.
Like I read like 9 of them. So I was like just really engrossed in her writing all month, the month that I read Addie Larue, and it was so different, but I still loved it. But I think because I read so many of her books back to back, I could still pick up on some similarities from some of her other books.
I haven't really read her, but apparently she really like never does romance, and this book is all about romance. That was kind of neat.
She has romance.
She has some, but not. Her books aren't romance central. They're like romance to the side plot.
Okay. I'm trying to remember all the ones I've read.
Darker Shade's the only one I can think of that I've read that has like romance in it.
Yeah. All right. So if anyone doesn't know what happens in this book, so it follows Addie Larue, who is a girl who is alive in the 1700s, and she's trying to escape this forced marriage from her parents. They deal with a devil or demon-like being so that she won't have to go through this. She just wants to live, and he grants this wish, but ends up cursing her, so she lives forever. So since it's a fantasy book, I found that since it's like in our modern world, the only magical element was the curse. But considering that that's kind of what the whole book revolved around, what did you guys think of like the curse and that's role in the book and how it was executed and the limitations that it put on Addie and how she kind of worked around it? What were your thoughts on that?
I really like how she did the curse. Like, you could tell that V.E. Schwab put a lot of thought into like every little thing, like that revolves around it. Like, who is going to forget Addie? Like, what's the time frame for forgetting her? Is it just turning around? Is it her being out of your like line of sight? I feel like she spent a lot of time figuring that out, and I appreciate that. And I really like how Addie kind of learns how to make her presence known and make her mark and like get around like the aspects of the curse.
She's definitely very clever, and I just, at first it's like she couldn't even leave a mark on this world. If she dropped a drink, it would just, appear. There was just no way she could leave a mark, and then she finds a way to leave a mark, with Henry, and that scene where they're at the art, display exhibition, and she has her hand on her and I'm like just the way that she found a way to make herself remembered and a part of history. I just thought that V.E. Schwab did such a cool job with that, and like Jesse said, it was just so well thought out. So
yeah, I agree. I feel like to go with what you were saying earlier is that you could really feel for the character. I feel like I could put myself in her shoes and like kind of go through, like, how can I say this? Like, at the beginning, when she was living through that curse, she really didn't know what was happening. She like, I was just feeling the same way. I was like, how the hell is she going to manage to do like 300 years of that? Like, I was feeling really sad, like for the most part of the book, but especially at the beginning, because I felt like she was so lonely and it was so sad. And I was like, at the beginning of the book, I was like, could I even do that? Like, could I even go like 300 years doing that? And yeah, and I don't think so. But then after finishing the book, I kind of understand why she went through it and why she, was dedicated to not like giving up and just not giving her soul and like still, going into it, even before she met Henry. So that was, well executed for that.
Yeah.
It made me try to think of like other books that had the same sort of trope in it where people make a deal with the devil. I was like, oh, what other books have this in it? Like, where is this? Like, the picture of Dorian Gray has it.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't read that.
In my head.
Now I was trying to think of other ones, but like I didn't have any other ones that came to mind. But I was like, I want to read more of this.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like it'd be a popular kind of trope, but I can't think of one other than Dorian Gray. Great. We're gonna have to like research some books.
I know, right? I need to read Dorian Gray too, apparently.
Oh, it's amazing.
Catherine asked if this was a young adult book, so I just want to say no.
Definitely not.
It's got very mature themes and scenes. So.
I think a good way to tell with V.E. Schwab is what name she uses too. If it's adult or young adult. Any of her books published as Victoria Schwab are either YA or middle grade. And then her VE books are her adult books.
Yeah.
I have a different opinion though. I feel like this could be read by a younger audience, maybe not like middle grade audience, but like, middle adult, like,
I think so. I think
there are some themes and there are some like very like scenes that are tougher. They're not very explicit, but if you kind of understand what's happening, it's like.
I mean, I probably would have read it when I was in high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say high school.
Probably like the older spectrum of teenage. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, I kind of want to transition into the plot because when I was preparing my review, like, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I finish a book, I always go and read other people's reviews and watch their videos to kind of compare opinions. And I heard when people were discussing the plot that they thought that the middle of the plot, like the middle of the book, was incredibly slow and it really dragged. So if those of you who haven't read it, the book deals a lot with jumping around between past and present. There's a lot of flashbacks and we kind of learn Addie's journey slowly through these flashbacks. And I just heard a lot of people say that they thought that was well done, but other people said that they thought it was really slow and it dragged in the middle. And I was just wondering y'all's opinion on that.
I thought it was slow, but I didn't think it dragged. So I thought it was intentionally slow, if that makes sense. Like, it's not supposed to be like a fast-paced, plot-driven book. It's very character-driven, in my opinion. So it was slow, but it never felt like it was dragging for me. Like, I liked all the little slow moments of it.
Yeah, and I liked in the middle of it, you got to see lots of different cities.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jess was saying in her review, like all the settings.
Yes.
And, like, I just loved experiencing all those settings throughout history. And as well, like through the build-up of the middle, you know that there's like the future there, and you want to know what happened in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the whole time. That was all I wanted to know. What happened in New Orleans?
Like, what happened in New Orleans?
That's all I wanted to know.
To it. And I was like, I've just got to keep reading. I just need to know what's going to happen.
Yes.
So for me, it wasn't slow at all because I was like, got to know what's going to happen next. What's going to happen in her life? How does she get from here to the future? Or present day?
I love the different settings. I mean, she was in Germany, Italy, France, where she was born, different parts of the United States. So that was really cool. I enjoyed watching her journey, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think the only part for me that dragged a little bit, but it was justified, was kind of like the latter half of the book where it kept showing her meetings. Okay, well, first off, do you pronounce his name Luke or Luce?
Apparently it is Luke. I have said it Luce literally this whole time. I watched her, like, V.E. Schwab's Instagram stories, and she said it was pronounced Luke. And I'm like, my whole world just came crumbling down.
Well, technically in French it's Luc.
See, I like that much better.
Luc, but you would say Luke, I guess. Yes.
Someone, I don't know who it was, said that it was short for Lucifer. And I was like, I just read this book and I did not connect that together. Lucifer.
I think it said it in the book. Like, there's like one phrase.
She gave him that name for that.
Yeah.
So I called him Luke. So it's loose. But so the kind of second half of the book, later part where it kept showing her waiting for Luke and them back and forth meeting, I felt kind of was a little bit slow, and I kept wondering what the point of that was. But then at the end, when we kind of learned how their relationship developed, I was like, oh, that's what she was trying to show us, the fact that they were the only two people in each other's lives, and they were kind of developing that relationship. So I feel like the ends justified the means. So I don't know if you felt that way.
I did, and I did not expect that relationship at all, but I did find it dragging at times. And I think are we giving spoilers right now? Are we doing?
I get So we are gonna have spoilers for anyone who has not read it, and
spoilers.
Well, it's not really a big spoiler, but basically the relationship that she had with Henry, I was super excited at the beginning when they were going through it because I was so emotionally invested. I was like, yes, finally, she could have an actual relationship with someone. But I find that at some point I found it was getting not long, but because the other chapters of the other timeline was so full of diverse, locations and people she was meeting, stories, and she was meeting you could read a bunch of different stories that she's had, she's met different guys and stuff. And then we would come back to the story with Henry, which was always the same. I don't know. I found that kind of dragging. And from what I read from different reviews, is that it's a lot of people either really got attached to one part of the story or the other. So a lot of people really like the story with Henry, and that was my opinion at some point. And then when it would go back to back in time, I was like, oh, I wish we would have stayed in that other part, in that other timeline. And I read Emily May's review on Goodreads, and she said she didn't care for the relationship with Henry, and she was just disappointed every time it would go back to a chapter on their relationship. I've read a lot of those comments online.
Yeah.
Did you see any parallels though between Henry and Addie's relationship and her and Luke's relationship? Because I feel like they only entered into the relationship because they were the only two people around, so it was just convenient than anything else.
I think it was never fully explored whether she truly loved Henry, and I do think she really did.
Yeah.
Or if it was just convenience.
Even she questions herself in the book. Yeah, she even says something similar. So,
but I think her choice is what kind of solidified the fact that she obviously did care and did have feelings.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think anyone would self-sacrifice
like
that unless you truly love someone. That's the biggest act of love you could do.
Right. I liked their little moments. It reminded me of and I guess, this is how the book is framed, as her telling him her story. It just reminds me of an old couple sitting on the couch talking about the good old days. Something like, I don't know, it just gave me that feeling of just like looking back at your life.
Gotcha. I like that. That's sweet. So I'm kind of glad we started talking about the characters because that's kind of what I want to transition to. So we have our 3 main characters. We have Addie, obviously. Then we have Luke, who is our devil demon, who is not human. And then we have Henry, who I didn't even know that there was going to be Henry in this book. I don't know if any of you guys did, but when I saw that there was another point of view, I was like, wait, what? I didn't know that there was going to be another person. I thought it was just going to be following her and Luke's relationship. So that threw me off. But so how did you like Addie as a character overall? Did you like her? Didn't like her?
I liked
her.
too.
And in Jessie's review, I saw you say like she's not the complaints have been that she's not like other girls. But I'm like, I don't care that she's not like other girls.
She's not like other girls. She's immortal.
Right? That's what I said. Like, of course she's not.
You can get away with that because it's true.
Like, I just loved seeing her grow and her journey and like the way that she thought and just the struggles that she dealt with and trying to like have her identity and be able to express herself in the way that she wanted to and just be able to make her mark on the world. I just loved her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved how she grew from the beginning to the end. Like, she started just as this scared girl that like didn't want to be forced into a marriage and wanted to live, and she just grew from that.
Yeah, I really liked her too as a character. I thought that she was very clever, very smart, incredibly resilient. Like, I think after like a year, I would have been like, "That's it, you can have my."
I'm done.
Yeah.
And just hearing like her first like year and like them showing it, I'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm done."
Yeah.
Just take it. Just.
Yeah. And it, it's almost like she had a little bit of like hubris, like pride, like I'm gonna show this devil. I'm not gonna let him get the better.
Yeah.
So I like her, and I don't care if she's not like other girls because she's not like other girls. So they can. That argument I don't like. Now Henry, on the other hand, I've heard a lot of people say they didn't like Henry. They thought he was like a whiny crybaby.
I don't know
if Henry. Opinion of Henry.
I loved Henry. I was feeling so much for him. Like, you could tell that he was really, he was like a very depressed character, like, and if you've ever been through anything like that in your life, you kind of know what he feels, he just felt so empty at the beginning, and he was just like, I don't know, I really, really felt for him.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like as someone that has struggled with anxiety and depression in my life before, like, it made me connect with him so much. Like, he might be my favorite character in the book. Like, I just connected with him so much, especially like on the level of having anxiety and just all that stress about like people not liking you. Like, that's just something I really related to. Like, are they going to like me? Are they not going to like me? And like, it's something you grow out of eventually, some of us. But like, it's just like, wow. Like, I remember feeling like that. So I get it.
I think it was
the queen. Yes, Mer.
Who didn't like Henry? We want to know who didn't like Henry.
I don't remember who it was. I can't remember. Like I said, I watched a lot of videos and read a lot of reviews.
Yeah, same.
But I liked Henry too. Like, I feel all of us want to be accepted by people. That's just part of being in any type of normal society. We all have that need for acceptance. So I don't feel like he was strange in that regard. And I think that he did struggle with like depression and mental illness. And I think that V.E. Schwab did a good job showing that you don't need a reason to feel that way. Like, sometimes it is just a health issue, and you shouldn't be called whiny because you're dealing with something like that. And I think that, I just think she did an awesome job, with him, having suicidal thoughts and contemplating, should I even live? And do I need to take pills in order to escape reality? Like, I think that a lot of people have gone through that, and she made it very real and relatable, like Jessie said. So I liked Henry too.
I liked Henry.
And what I liked too is that she didn't give like too much explanation behind why he was depressed. Just like, and that's probably going to be another topic, but there was like really like strong representation of like LGBTQI. And I feel like even for that, she didn't give anything, like, it wasn't like straight in your face, like, oh, by the way, these two characters are bi. here they are. No, it's just like you would read a character and you're like, oh, that's actually a girl, another girl, you know? Cool.
Yeah.
It just happened like that.
I agree with that. I liked that.
Henry was the same thing. I think it was mentioned at some point that he had anxiety like disorder, but I feel like she just put it there without too much explanation. So I liked it for that. Sometimes I find that authors, especially YA authors, just try to really explain it to you, like why that character is depressed. Like it's okay to be depressed. You don't even need a reason, or sometimes you don't even know why you're depressed, you know? So that just normalized it, in my opinion.
And I think she said as well that he just has always struggled with like his emotions. Like when he was happy, but when he wasn't, and
Right.
it was just part of the way he was. And like some people, it's not as though there's an actual like one catalyst that switches you into being depressed. It's just your emotions can. I think she was saying that his emotions are unstable.
Yeah.
Catherine,
I loved it.
She said, do you like characters that are in a series or characters that are in one novel? Do you feel like these characters are in a series? I think that's a product of the author, because like, in my opinion, Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, I think that those characters grow quite a bit in that book, even though it's a single book.
Yeah.
But then, some books they don't grow at all. So I think that's like what a good writer can do. I don't know.
I agree with that.
That's true. I tend to prefer characters that I tend to prefer series over films, because I get really attached to characters and I always want more. But I think one of, if not my favorite contemporary book is a standalone, and that is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And that is the book by excellence in which I got attached to the characters and I still think about them to that day. And oh my God. If there was a sequel, I would be really happy there, but...
Don't hate me, I haven't read it.
I haven't either. I know.
I have read it.
Look at Abby's like...
Do you agree?
And I think it was overhyped, but... I liked it. I really liked it.
Bye, you just ran her off.
I liked it. I'm not saying that... I think I gave it 4 stars, but I just couldn't. I just didn't love it as much as everyone else did.
Oh, that's literature's subjective,
Totally.
All right, now, so we all like Henry. He's not a whiner. I'll have to hunt down who said that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
What do we think about Luke?
I struggle with Luke. I want to like him, and sometimes I do. There are times in the book where he makes you like him.
I know.
But I don't feel like it's a genuine caring about him. It's how he tricks Addie into caring for him. Because he never really loves her, but he says he does. And it's that really just gaslighting, just trying to be manipulative. And at times you want to like him. But you just know that he's a shitbag.
I like him as a character.
Yes.
I really liked the way he is, just him as a character. I wouldn't say I like him as a person, and I don't like his choices.
No, I agree with that.
And I wouldn't want to spend time with him really. But
no, not at all.
Yeah.
But I like the way he's portrayed in the book.
Yeah.
I think he's very interesting and complex.
He's a good antagonist, I feel like. Yeah. Probably, now that you said that, probably one of the better ones I've read in a while, I feel like, or most interesting, maybe. But I like what you said, Jesse, about him saying that he loved Addie, but not. I personally didn't see it, because if you love someone, you're not going to do that to them. You're not going to curse them and make them suffer. So it's just kind of curious if maybe because he was a demon, he wasn't capable of that human emotion, or maybe, I don't really know.
I don't know.
B.E. Schwab was just trying to show us that, sometimes love is more action than feeling, or something. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I don't think he loved her. I think he
wanted
to possess her.
He loved himself in which she could provide him.
Yes.
And I have never once liked Luke.
Maybe it was because she was the only one that challenged him. Everyone just gave up, but she's the one who played the fight.
It fed him, sort of.
Yeah, it's like a possession. It was a challenge, a possession, something that he could control.
So why do you think that Addie decided to have a relationship at all with him, like before the ending.
New Orleans.
I think some of it will be loneliness, and like
For
he was
sure.
the only one that actually remembered her.
Mm.
And at this point, she'd been going however many years, what, 250 years?
Something like that, yeah.
And no one had remembered her. So at some point, you're going to get worn down by it all.
Mm.
And he's giving her attention.
hmm
So you are going to, as humans, you are going to strive, like, you are going to want that.
Yeah. I
I
think
feel
that's it. She wanted somebody to be around, and she knew that he's like the only one. So she's like, all right, well, let's give it a chance. Let's see what happens. And it doesn't start off with her actually wanting to be with him. It starts off with just like, all right, this is a fun little fling for a little while. Like, let's see.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of it's similar to the I think it's called the Stockholm syndrome. Like you're like someone is being captive by someone, and they kind of start developing feelings for that person because it's the only person they could actually have like contact and connection with. And I mean, I feel like it would happen to anyone because who doesn't long for like loving and caring, you know, like you want, and this, like Addie can never have that. She could only have like small moments of it, but then like everybody would not remember her. So like, who doesn't want someone to like love and care for you, you know?
Yeah, it's really realistic that it's really happening between Addie and Luke.
And they had developed a history, if you think about it, because what is it? Every couple years they meet and they have like a dinner or something. So at the end of a couple centuries, like they have all of this time and history that they've spent together. So they know each other by now.
Yeah, I was naive though because I did not I didn't see it coming, or I was just not expecting it. I just hated him so much. I was like, you know.
I think another one of, speaking of Luke, one of the big like complaints that I remember seeing when I've read some reviews is people thinking that this was a love story between a girl and the devil. And it definitely was not that. I don't remember it being marketed like that unless it was originally marketed and then
very
changed.
beginning. It was
Okay. Because I'm like, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't know where I thought, but when I went into it, that's what I thought.
Okay.
So I must have gotten that impression. So that's why I said when I saw Henry's point of view, I was like, hey, what's this?
Yeah. See, I knew that there was going to be a boy that remembered after a long period of time.
And the thing is, that I feel as though they marketed it very weirdly because Henry doesn't come in until 160 pages.
Yeah.
I remember telling you, Jessie, I was like, I've got to the bit where the synopsis is, and it's 160 pages.
Yes,
That's
I remember you
long.
telling me that.
That's too long into the book for you to get to the synopsis. Like, when I think about it, they should have just said something like, it's a girl that makes a deal with the devil to live forever, and the consequences of that is that she is not remembered by anyone, and just left it at that. And you wouldn't have known about Henry or anyone remembering her.
Yeah.
That's how I would have marketed it, because then you'd have like that, oh my God, someone remembers that moment.
It's super vague. I like that.
I like it. I prefer going into my books blind, to be honest.
Same.
And even like just knowing that people cried in it, I was like, oh damn it, like I'm gonna die for sure, you know.
I guess I read it like the day it came out, or very soon after it came out, so I didn't realize that everyone cried.
Yeah.
Until I was like bawling my eyes out. I was like, oh, okay, I know it's a cry now.
Yes.
Oh my God, look who joined us. Somebody who really loved it.
Michael is the reason that I got to read it in time. Because I was waiting on my Owlcrate edition. And it didn't get here until like yesterday or something stupid. Like it got like a week ago. It was the very end of the month. And Michael had sent me a copy.
Okay. That's sweet. Well, Michael, we were just talking about Luke and Addie's relationship. Do you want to chime in? Did you like Luke? What do you think about their relationship?
Oh, yes.
I think Michael hasn't read anything since because he's still like...
I think he's read it 3 times since.
You know?
So, yeah, I liked Luke as an antagonist. I thought he was a good portrayal as the devil. I don't think it was true love. And like Addie said, I think that it was just because it was convenient. But there was some like physical chemistry there that was evident.
Oh yeah,
So,
but it's because he made it so. Like he knew what she wanted a guy to look like.
That's
And he
another,
took over that form. Like,
He
that
was
is another form of manipulation.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
very manipulative. I
I
think
mean, I wouldn't be opposed to reading a book that was like the love between a girl and the devil.
No, I wouldn't either. I'd probably be down for that if written well.
Yeah, but I haven't heard that. But it's funny because now that, and speaking of Michael, I feel like he wrote in the Discord at some point that he doesn't think that Luke is actually a devil.
He was
that was like
older-
at the very beginning.
He's the dark. What I got from it is that he's the darkness. So he's older than our God, older than the devil, like than the concept of the devil. So he just has always been this old ancient deity.
But he only curses people. He doesn't bestow goodness on people. So
Yeah,
maybe he's just evil incarnate or something. I don't know.
something.
So yeah, interesting relationship. I think the relationship dynamics were really, really good in this book also. Like even the
I
side
agree.
characters, like the friendship group.
Like, I could have done a whole book about Robbie.
Like
Oh, that's true.
Like, I want a Robbie novella,
Maybe Schwab.
right? I'm gonna add her.
What is the female friend's name again? Is it Bea?
Yeah.
Faye or
Faye?
Bea?
Yeah.
I really liked her. I thought she was like a really good like bestie for Henry.
Mhm,
Henry's friends, his friendship group.
Yeah.
was-
I really liked them.
mhm.
What did you guys think about the curse that was put on Henry?
Oh, he got a raw deal.
Oh, that was so harsh, honestly. It was. Hey, but you know what? At some point, I was asking myself the question, and I wanted to ask you guys, like, which one would you choose if you could?
Oh my god.
At some point during the book, I feel like I was like, okay, like he's got the good deal, you know, because everybody loves him. But then I didn't know, obviously, that it was only for a year. Then that changes.
Yeah, it's the only for a year that like.
that,
Oh, he got a raw deal.
like, oh yeah, no, that changed my opinion for sure. But then I was like, it's not that bad. Everybody likes you. But I get that like it was really weighing on him at some point because he was just like, yeah, but nobody really does, you know?
Yeah.
And it's impulsion. It's not real. I think I'd rather honestly have Addie's
I agree.
than
Because
Henry.
I don't think everyone really liked Henry because people saw him as different things, not as himself.
Yeah, but at least he could have like some form of connection with people, like.
Sure.
But did
Not
he?
too bad, but then for like short moments, you know, like it must be so lonely.
I
I'd
know.
rather like have everybody love me for the wrong reasons. Lonely forever, you know. I mean, the fact that it was for only
Yeah.
one year changes everything, obviously. But
Oh yeah, the
I
year.
actually don't know to this day which I would choose.
I don't know. They both suck.
Yeah, and I feel like they both revolve around the concept of loneliness and needing genuine human interaction in order to be happy in life. Because you have Addie who can't get depressed because the people that she interacts with can't remember her, and then you have Henry who is interacting with people, but they don't really know him for him.
Mhm.
So I feel like the curses were very similar. They were just different aspects of it, I guess.
Mm.
So
Yeah, but the fact that he only got a year.
Oh yeah, no,
I
that's
feel as though
Oh,
he could have maybe negotiated for more. Like when
Oh,
he
yeah.
made the deal with the devil or the darkness or whatever, when he made the deal, he was so depressed he was going to kill himself.
yeah, and he was
And-
super drunk too,
And
wasn't
he was
he?
super drunk. He just accepted it. He didn't like really think about what he was doing. He wasn't like
Mhm.
consciously making the decision. Whereas you think if you were conscious, then you'd have gone, oh, well, you wouldn't sign for a year. You'd sign for like, well, not a lifetime because
Yeah,
they
but
probably wouldn't give you a lifetime. But
at that point, no.
But just to go back on the Addie's curse side, I feel like the curse is not only about her not being remembered, it's also the lifestyle she's living. Wait, was that?
I just love how he's like my Addie.
Luke's relationship.
I don't feel like he actually. But when you think about like Addie's curse, it's not just about like people not remembering her. It's also about the lifestyle. She's living as a
Yeah.
homeless person forever. Like, and at some point, I found that was a bit unrealistic. And yes, okay, it's a fantasy, but like, did she really find like? Okay, maybe that's me just overthinking the things, but like, did she really find a freaking place to stay like every single night? Like, how would she go?
Right?
You know, like, how would she like eat? Oh, I don't know. I was like, oh, that doesn't really make sense. But I think it's not even. I would be okay with people not remembering me because you could still form some form of connection that would be temporary. But
Mhm.
just having to live like a homeless person and just trying to find someone
Yeah.
to stay at night,
That
that's
sucks.
a great fit for me. You know.
Mm-hmm.
She found a lot of people willing to have one night stands, though.
I
Oh,
was
wow.
very surprised. I was not expecting that much.
I was like, damn, that's a lot of one night stands. Like, if you think about it,
Henry too.
right?
Henry too. Okay, so all of us said that this was definitely a very emotional book and it made us cry. So for you guys, what was the one scene that was the most, I don't know, emotionally impactful or made you cry or really hit home with you? Do you remember?
All of it?
Yes. I mean, it's a big spoiler, though. So if anyone does not want the spoilers,
Well,
now is probably the best time.
Spoilers already.
Right.
Okay, it's not even, I'm sure it's not even going to be the popular answer, but to me, it was when I knew that Henry had made the deal too. I did not see that coming at all, and I'm 19 naive for that. I remember actually texted Michael on the Discord, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell?" He's like, I know. I couldn't see that coming at all, and it just hit me, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's in a shitty situation too." I didn't understand why. It just hit me, but maybe that's just because of the plot twist and the moment.
I didn't see that coming at all.
I didn't either.
That part. The part that made me cry the most, though, that was their last day together, where he thinks that this is his last day. He's dying. And all he wants to do is lay in bed, and he doesn't want to get out of bed because he doesn't want the moment to break. And just that hit me so hard. And then when they're up on the roof and he finds out what Addie did, I was a puddle of mush. It was that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting something to happen, but I really thought that he was going to die.
Yeah, me too.
Because I knew that V. Schwab, she doesn't hold punches. I
No.
knew she wasn't going to have a happy ending.
Mm-mm.
Nope, she's going to break you.
She will. All her books.
Yep.
I feel like my answer is probably going to be a little different. I did tear up on that last scene, but I think the one that was most emotional for me is when right after she became invisible and she went back to her parents' house.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she was walking through her dad's shop, and she picks up the carving, and that's the only thing that she has of her old life, and she will do everything to hold on to that carving because it's her only connection to her parents and her dad and her mom. And then I feel like when she lost the carving, I was like, no, it's the one thing that keeps
Yeah.
that was just symbolizing your old life's over.
Mm-hmm.
You have a new life. So that one, I don't know, was really emotional for me.
There were so many emotional parts.
But now I'm just remembering all the bits that were really emotional. I don't think I really started crying until the end, but there were so many bits throughout that were emotional. When she gets to Paris and she has to figure out how she can survive and what she needs to do to get money and all of the sacrifices that she has to make. And the first time that she sleeps with what's his name, Rennie. So, and then she wakes up in the morning and realizes that he doesn't know who she is.
And he just shoves her the money,
oh yeah.
That was the awkward moment.
Yeah. She just felt like nothing. That didn't even matter. I completely agree.
I really liked the ending, though.
Oh yeah.
The full, the very ending.
So you know who didn't? Do any of you watch Daniel Green?
Yes, I watched that review.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
I didn't watch it.
He said that he thought that last scene, so I'm assuming he's talking about when they're in the bookshop and seeing the book, and then Addie's thinking in her head, I'm going to get Luke, I'm going to outmaneuver him. That scene didn't need to be written.
I loved that bit.
I disagree. Fully, I disagree. I love that scene.
Yeah, I don't think it needed to be taken out. I don't know why he said that. I felt like it kind of wrapped everything up really nice and neat.
And still left it as an open ending.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a sequel.
Yeah, I don't think so.
She said that she's not right.
She has said she's I'm done.
I don't know if I can handle it.
For 10 years.
What?
Yeah.
So, I thought it was great. And, you know, even though we don't like Luke, or I personally don't think he's the best, you know, at least she will have someone rather than no one, so she won't be as lonely. And I don't know.
I just
love that, like, that last bit where she's like, and I didn't phrase the deal like
the
this.
phrasing.
I phrased it like this so that he will get tired of me. He will get sick of me, and I will still be at the end.
Loved that. That was like, that made it. You're like, okay, so she has learned from him the importance of words, the importance of being, you know, a little bit manipulative. Like, she got her jabs in, and now she just has to be patient, which we've seen through the rest of the book that she is patient.
Yeah. But do you really think she's like gonna make it all the way through, or she's just gonna give up at some point and be like, okay, I can't do this?
I don't see her giving up.
She's made it 300 years. She can do another 300.
Right? At this point, I think she has something to fight for. Like, she has something that she's working towards. So, like, she has that motivation. Like, all right, no matter how long it takes me, this is my motivation.
And I think she's got used to her curse. Like, she can see how she's found all the loopholes.
Yeah.
Like, she can experience, like, getting her mark out into the world now. And so,
she has a whole book written about her now. Like,
I just thought that was just a perfect ending. Like, the devil had been trying to keep her invisible for centuries, and then okay, so I have one question for you guys, and this was actually I guess, I don't know, you know Charles, does he go by Charles on Discord? He's got a channel. He goes by Walker Wright.
Oh, yes.
He goes by Walker Wright on Discord too, I think.
Yes.
So he asked the question, if you could make a deal with the devil, just like Addie did, what would it be? And what would the potential consequences be?
Oh my god, that is
responded, I feel like.
For Megan to that.
What?
I have time to think about it.
Yeah,
I know.
I was like, wow. I did answer him. I thought it was a great question, and I thought one of you had responded. I don't know who it was. So I said, if I could make a deal with the devil, just like Addie did, I would probably want to eradicate like any depression or sadness that you experience in life, like the heavy kind that kind of goes for a long time. But then I feel like the consequences would be, usually whenever you're feeling that way, it could be a product of something that you're going through that's developing you as a person and a character. So if you take that away, you might not grow as a person. You'll just be like stuck in a rut and be a sad.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, that's a great question.
That is a great question. I have no idea.
That would be your deal, but what would you have to pay in exchange?
Well, say that I would have to go through something hard in order to grow as a person, and I was experiencing those emotions because of what I was going through. I would not have to like grow as a person in order to not experience those emotions. So I'd probably never mature. I'd probably like be one-dimensional emotionally.
Yeah, I feel like you can never be truly happy unless you've experienced sadness.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe the consequence would be never knowing what true happiness is. Like Jesse said.
Okay, I get it. And it's very realistic because try to push away bad emotions. I mean, you're never going to grow from it. You know, you're never going to learn from it. You know, that's a great answer.
Right? That's a great. I'm like over here, like, what would I do?
I need like a good 15 minutes to think about that.
And I was like, I have no idea what I'd respond to that. So I just stayed because I was still trying to think of an answer. And I haven't thought of an answer.
It was something like being able to read books all the time, and I was like, man, I wish I'd chosen that.
Right? But what would be the consequence of that? Like to never live
God, I don't know.
a real life? I don't know.
I don't know. Something like locking myself away to read books all the time, but then I would never experience the real world or something like that.
Yeah.
That one makes sense, yeah.
But I thought that was a really good question. It was very, very deep.
Right? I'm like, I don't know.
Being able to speak every language and be able to understand everyone's culture. And
That would be awesome.
That would be great.
I don't know what the consequence of
What would
that
you
would
pay
be.
in exchange for that?
I know, right? What would the
You would
consequence
forget
be?
everything you would say.
No one would understand what you say, but you understand what everyone's saying.
Well, Charles said that he wanted everybody to know, because he's a writer. He's like, I want everybody to know my work, but then the consequence would be everyone would know it and hate it.
Oh, that would be so good.
I mean, you get your wish, but Everyone hates it. So
I have to agree with Michael's answer. Like, nothing sounds like it would be worth trading my soul.
yeah.
Especially after we saw how violently he took, was it Beethoven or Mozart?
Beethoven.
Was it Beethoven? I can never remember if it was Beethoven or Mozart in the book. But after seeing that scene, I was like, mm-mm.
Yeah, it seems like he made a lot of deals with artists.
Yeah.
It's kind of bizarre. I don't know if any of you picked up on that. Like
I did.
Yeah, the actors, and I wonder why she chose that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe because they want to be remembered for their art, you know.
I think so, like, because they want to be remembered, and they all have. He said at one point something about he feeds off ambition.
Mm.
And a lot of creative people have that ambition to be remembered, to be known.
Yeah, that was a great theme.
Mhm.
So I feel like one of the first off, one of the things that I loved about this book was how many like profound themes that V.E. Schwab explored. So a couple of the ones I liked were the theme of needing people in your life in order to be happy, because you have Henry who wants to be accepted, but then when people accept him, it's not genuine, it doesn't count. And you have Addie who just wants, relationships with people because she loses that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that was such a good theme that was expounded upon. And then I also like the theme of, do you really matter if you can't leave an imprint on the world?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what Addie was trying to do. She was trying to leave some sort of imprint, and it just didn't happen. So does she even matter? So I don't even know if there's an answer to that question. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah.
If you can't leave a memory somewhere, do you even matter?
Well, it's as if you and I don't want to say you don't matter to society, but like technically it's true because nobody really knows who you are or what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that your life shouldn't be lived. It doesn't mean that she should have made that deal and like give her soul, because she could still experience like moments. She could still like experience like happiness and learn things. And I mean, like, she's seen history being played in her. Like, that is cool. Yeah, okay, you can't share it with anybody else, except Marie. But yeah, I don't think she didn't matter to society because nobody knew her, but her life mattered.
I agree. Her life definitely matters, but it is hard to see, like, okay, but does it matter to society? Like, does it matter to yourself? And obviously she grew out of like being able to be like, okay, I'm not going to give up. I think I matter. And I think that's the more important part of it, is like her realizing that her own life matters, even if people can't remember her.
That's a really good message, in my opinion. It's like, you matter. It doesn't matter if no one can remember you. You're still important.
You're still important. Like, people don't have to remember you forever. Like, you don't have to go down in history.
But she will.
But she will.
Oh.
So, to be honest, guys, that is all I had for the discussion. I don't know if you guys want to add anything in, or something I didn't touch on, or any more thoughts, or just whatever.
No, I think we covered it all.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. Definitely one of my favorite books of the year.
Yes.
And I'm glad that y'all enjoyed it. I'm going to have to go watch those unpopular opinions.
Yeah, there's a couple people who just didn't like it at all.
Yeah. So,
it's definitely going to be one of my favorites of the year. It's easily up there.
Same.
You guys already talked about Henry's love for Addie. We touched on their relationship. Did you want to add something?
Yes.
So we said, did they really love each other? Was it like real love or convenience? And we decided it was real love, because you wouldn't self-sacrifice the way Addie did unless she truly loved him.
Those people don't matter.
Yeah, we did. We all liked Henry. Who was it that said he was a whiner?
I don't know.
Michael, was it you? Did you say that Henry was a whiner?
He thinks Henry really loved Addie.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for taking time out of your night, especially Abby. I know it's late over there, for chatting about Addie Larue.
Yes.
And if you have not already checked out these lovely ladies' channels, please do so. And if you're interested in, that was Walker. Okay. If you're interested in joining any other buddy reads, we will be buddy reading with Rhythm of War. I know.
I have to catch up. I'm so behind.
I haven't even started Way of Kings.
Oh, okay. I'm up more ahead than that.
So yeah, ladies,
Just barely.
I am good. Unless you guys don't have anything, I hope you have an amazing night and be safe. And hopefully we can do this another time soon.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
It was really fun.
My pleasure. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.